Today we want to introduce Global Forest Watch as a tool for teachers and students and talk a little bit about GFW's pilot education initiative that Sophia's been working on for the last 6 months.
We're also joined today by two guest speakers who have both used Global Forest Watch in the classroom. Dr. Yvonne Andres is co-founder of Global SchoolNet, which is an organization that develops e-learning projects for global education. And Dr. Elena Yulaeva is the executive director of Community Commons, which is a community-driven data sharing platform. And together they developed Global Forest Link, which is a project that connects students from around the world through Global Forest Watch. So they'll spend the second half of this webinar discussing their experiences using Global Forest Watch in the classroom.
And just a couple of administrative points before we get started. We'll be answering questions throughout the webinar, so if you have any questions for us, please type them into the chat box on the GoToWebinar panel. And we're also recording this webinar, so if you miss anything, you can go back and watch it on the Global Forest Watch YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar with Global Forest Watch, it's an online web platform that offers the latest tools for monitoring forests. The GFW interactive map that you see here provides precise and near real-time information about where in the world deforestation is taking place based on satellite data that recognizes changes in tree cover and vegetation. GFW is free and easy to use and enables anyone to do things like analyze forest trends, subscribe to deforestation alerts, and explore our high-resolution satellite images. So why did we create Global Forest Watch? It was developed in partnership with a number of companies and organizations that help provide the latest research, technology, and expertise like NASA and Google. And it was designed to make information about forests, which used to be stored in GIS labs and spreadsheets like you see here, accessible to the public, and also to put it in the hands of those that are working on the ground on forest management and conservation. And the map's foundational data set comes from the University of Maryland, and it shows the extent of global tree cover, which you see in green, as well as annually detected changes from the satellite data. The blue dots, or purple areas that you see, show where forest gain has occurred, and the pink areas show where forest loss has happened. And what's unique about this data is that it's relevant on many scales. So globally, you can see trends and hotspots, but if you zoom in the way the map is right now, the 30-meter resolution that the data set is measured at, which is about the size of a baseball infield, is accurate enough to monitor forest changes on a local scale. So here you see the satellite imagery overlaid with the forest change data, and you can see how well it matches up. And in addition to this annual data on forest change, GFW also offers a number of alert systems that detect forest change on a more frequent basis. So we have from monthly to weekly alerts that make the platform more relevant for those that are monitoring or patrolling areas on the ground. And the platform also includes more contextual data sets like you see here that allow you to start exploring why deforestation might be taking place. So this includes information about land use, such as where governments have granted land for use for mining or for plantations, information about conservation, like where protected areas are or biodiversity-rich areas are located, and information about people, so where communities have access to land and resource rights. And in addition to that, we also have crowdsourced user stories that allow anyone to submit their story about what's happening to forests near them. And to go along with access to all of these data sets, Global Forest Watch also includes a number of GIS tools that make it easy to analyze the amount of hectares of change or gain anywhere in the world. For example, by drawing a custom shape or by analyzing a country or region or a specific national park. And because GFW is a tool for monitoring forests, anyone can also subscribe to one of our deforestation alert systems that I mentioned and get emails as new tree clearing is detected. So this system is currently being used by park rangers, journalists, companies, and anyone else around the world who wants to know as soon as tree clearing happens. And we've also seen a need to build off of our original interactive map and create tools that focus on particular issues related to deforestation. So we've launched a series of what we call applications that branch off of our main GFW platform. And this includes Global Forest Watch Fires, which is a tool that was developed to monitor fires and haze in Southeast Asia. Global Forest Watch Commodities, which traces deforestation in corporate supply chains and currently focuses on the palm oil industry in Indonesia. GFW Climate, which analyzes carbon emissions associated with deforestation. And most recently, Global Forest Watch Water, which explores the connections between factors such as tree cover loss, erosion, and fire and watershed risk. So we've built this expansive platform that makes all of this information about forests available and accessible, and we wanted to see how this could fit into environmental education. And with that, I'll pass it over to Sophia.
Thanks, Carla. So we wanted to develop a GFW education strategy to more directly tap into and empower an audience in the education community that has always been a point of engagement for GFW. The power of Global Forest Watch is in the tools that Carla just described to you. So students can read about the effects of deforestation in a textbook. However, Global Forest Watch provides the opportunity to explore the concept of deforestation through its data by showing what it actually looks like on the ground. Ultimately, this allows students to develop a deeper sense of why perhaps clear-cutting in the Amazon for soy or cattle ranching is significant. Also, if students live in a place where forest conservation is not a priority, they're able to gain a more tangible understanding of why these issues are relevant to the global discourse on climate change. Not only this, but students get to be data scientists. Because of the nature of the way that Global Forest Watch is designed, you don't need to be a technical expert to use Global Forest Watch. So by giving them the chance to explore these data sets and formulate their own questions and seek out their own answers, we see GFW kind of as a bridge to STEM fields and as a tool to spark student interest in science and technology. The purpose of all of this is to empower another generation to be forest conservationists and to protect forests and to ultimately work towards a larger goal of ending global deforestation. So the way that we've done this so far is by designing a pilot education module, which was developed with input from science teachers and environmental education curriculum developers. And using the Brazilian Amazon as a backdrop, this activity aims to help students understand the connection between deforestation and carbon emissions. So each phase helps them explore how this relationship connects to present-day environmental challenges through a series of phases of activity. So the first one orients them to the study site, which in this case is the Brazilian Amazon, and they are introduced to forestry terms and different data sets that are relevant to this investigation. And in the second phase, they are able to use the main Global Forest Watch Global Forest Watch website as well as Climate to conduct analysis using Global Forest Watch data and tools so that they're able to understand how tree cover loss and emissions are related. And in the final phase, they are asked to show what they've learned through synthesizing all of the data that they've explored and all of the terms that they've gained to explain to an uninformed audience what they've learned. Again, kind of going with this theme of you learn something and then you want to share it to create a network of people who are all working towards ending deforestation. So right now we are in testing with over 100 students in 3 high schools all over the country, and we would obviously love to have more students test out the module, so if you're interested you can contact me. And going forward, we're really hoping to have Global Forest Watch established as a go-to educator and student resource for learning about forest issues and conservation. So we've already begun to do this through an informal partnership with Project Learning Tree, which is an environmental education organization, and they provide curriculum resources and teacher training, and they've incorporated us on all their curricula involving forests from pre-K through 12th grade. So with that being said, I will turn it over to our guest speakers who have, again, developed a curriculum using Global Forest Watch in the classroom. Dr. Yvonne Andres will speak first, who again is the co-founder of Global SchoolNet. And following her, Dr. Elena Yulaeva will speak, who is the Executive Director of Community Commons. So I will turn it over to them. Please keep listening. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Joining you here from sunny San Diego. And I'm very excited to tell you about our project, Global Forest Link, and our vision is to use the Global Forest Watch platform to connect youth locally and globally to collaboratively investigate forest change and then share their observations through the digital stories that they create. And basically, we have found that when you create an interactive education community around a topic or even a technology, it really accelerates the learning experience and the benefits of that technology. So today, I'm excited to speak to you with my colleague, Dr. Elena Yulaeva. She and I work together on a daily basis building our program, and we've invited Dr. Lee Zeitz, a professor from the University of Northern Iowa, to join us, and he will say a few words about the program from a higher ed perspective. He's been very instrumental in helping us identify teachers that he works with to participate in the project. So one of the great things about the Global Forest Link project is that it supports what's called the 21st century learning skills. Students are involved in authentic data collection as they go out and they do their observations in the forest. We connect them with experts. We find experts that talk about forest change, forest health, urban forestry, different situations that people are facing in different parts of the world and parts of the country. We make the global connections because we think it's important for the young people to understand what's happening in their part of the region often is affecting what's happening in other parts of the world. So we give them that local perspective as well as the global perspective. And we think it's really important for the learning not to just stop with them. So a big part of our program is for them to take what they've learned and then create stories. And so we call these digital stories because we want them to share with others online. And so they can either create reports or they can create slideshows or they can create videos and share their stories with others. The program embraces what we call STEAM, the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And with the digital storytelling, they get to be very creative, and that adds the arts component. So this is an example of the timeline for Global Forest Link. We start off by doing a series of orientations and webinars for teachers and for students. We do a kickoff webinar where we invite as many participants that can join live to participate. Because we're working with schools all over the world, of course, the time zones become a challenge and not everybody can participate live. So we always record these and they can then watch them later. We've created a series of self-paced tutorials that they can work through. We provide a lot of support materials for them when they go out into the field to do their field research. We give them suggestions on how to take photographs, how to take videos of what they're seeing. We connect them with the experts. They tell their stories. And we talk a little bit about evaluation and assessment because, of course, if you're working through the education program, you need to identify what are they learning, you know, from a personal standpoint, from the class standpoint, and how will their accomplishments be evaluated. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Elena, and she's going to talk a little bit about the history of Global Forest Link.
Hi, my name is Elena Yulaeva, and as Yvonne mentioned, we are co-chairing this wonderful project. The first phase of the project was funded by the WRI by Global Forest Watch, and we had just 3 teams that participated. One team was from Russia, from the city Ulan-Ude in Republic of Buryatia, and this is the city next to the close to Lake Baikal, the largest lake in the world. And then 2 teams were in San Diego, in California. And on this slide, you see their photos and the how you can see it from satellites and from the ground. And what was interesting that when we started this project, we had the huge fires. We started the project September of 2015, and at that time we had huge fires in Republic of Buryatia and in California. So from the very beginning, the students who participated, they realized how connected the world is, and how even if they live far away from each other, how the forests experience the same problems. Now we are in phase 3 of the project, and we have more than 550 students from all over the world. We have teams in Russia, in US, in Ecuador, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and looking for new participants from all over the world. We ask our participants to, when they join the project, to submit brief information about their team, about their city or village, about their organization, and we then create a web page for each of the participating team, and then we also collect all this information and put it into the special visual application where you can search by country, by language, by location, etc. And it's interesting that when you Google some of the organizations, our Global Forest Link web pages pretty often come at the top of the Google search page. The Global Forest Link portal is the centerpiece of the project, because it's the place where we have all the materials and all the tutorials, and also the place where students upload the data that they collect, and then the stories that they create, and share their stories and discuss them. We created the we created a series of tutorials. They are self-paced tutorials that help the participants to learn more about the Global Forest Watch, about data collection, and about how to write, to create the digital stories. Each tutorial directs students to the next one in the sequence, so they can start from the top and work all the way down. Then one of the tutorials dedicated to the data collection, students go to the forests where they take the pictures and fill out the forms that will then describe the forest state and health in this particular location. After they come back, they upload this information into the online form, and then we take all this information and create and put it into a special analysis tool called SWAF, where you can analyze the data and also connect it to the Global Forest Watch. I will show it a little bit later how they do it. And also, after they create their digital stories, they upload it, also filling out a special form. They upload this story into our website. So everything we are doing in the Global Forest Link is to some extent connected to the Global Forest Watch. Our motto, if you go to our first page, is the connecting students all around the world with the Global Forest Watch. We have this page that I'm showing right now. It's the page with the tutorials, and Okay, and as you can see, we have the tutorial that explains what is the Global Forest Watch and how the satellite imaging work and how we can use the Global Forest Watch. And if you go to this tutorial, there is the video that is an example of shows an example of how to use the local data and the Global Forest Watch platform. And we have this videos for US and for Russia, and there are different videos. These are the examples for each particular country. Then when students create their digital stories, so they are supposed to follow the format and the requirements of the story. And one of the requirements of the story is they have to explain what they can infer from looking at the Global Forest Watch for researching all the available data there. What can they infer about the conditions in the local forests? So basically, the workflow is that the students study the tutorials. They go to the local forests or parks or urban forests. They collect images and metadata and upload it onto our sites. Then we put it into the SWAF and they can analyze it. Then they do their research on the conditions of the forest that they observed. They interview the experts, they look at the Global Forest Watch platform and study the neighborhood forests, and then they create the digital story and share it on our website. I can show you the example on how we connect everything to the Global Forest Watch. This is the gallery, which is the place where we put all the images and data, and this application allows us to see the bucket view and analyze, for instance, forest health, pictures that show different forest shows different stages of the forest health, and this is like the poor health, the fair health, and the excellent health of the forest. Then after this, for instance, I can go and zoom to the particular city, and for instance, I want to look at the want to zoom to the picture that students from Russia, from city Resh, submitted. And when I click on this image, I can see all the metadata that they collected, and we ask them to for the geographic location. We ask about the distance to the major roads. We ask them to infer from the Global Forest Watch, is it a managed forest, is it protected area, etc. And then when you click on this title of the image, it will redirect you to the Global Forest Watch, where you can see this particular area on the Global Forest Watch, and then they can start from there, looking at the satellite images and using all the tools that are available on the Global Forest Watch to study it further. We do the same with the stories. When we collect the stories, they also have to fill out the special form where they put the keywords, when they also put the geographic location of the pictures or on the videos that they're using in their digital story. And then You can also have bucket view, for instance, by award, and then you can analyze, filter it further by country, by language, etc. But for instance, if I look at the video that Russian students submitted and that won the awards, I also can see all the information that is available because they have filled out the special form. But also I can click on the link that says see it in the Global Forest Watch, and this will redirect me to the Global Forest Watch, to the area close to Lake Baikal, because this is where what they're talking about in the forest near Lake Baikal. They're talking about it in their video.
Now I think we're back to me. So as I mentioned earlier, a big part of what we do is try to arrange live interactive teleconferences. Sometimes they focus on the sharing of knowledge, the cultural connections. Sometimes we use them for training and demonstrations. We have We've scheduled a number of webinars where students get to interact with experts. We have the experts provide any articles or resources that they would recommend the students read those, and then the presenter talks about the topic and the students are able to ask questions. And then probably the most fun webinar that we do is at the end, where students are sharing their results and talking about their experiences. All right, so one of the things that is always a challenge when you're introducing anything new to education is, how do I manage this in my classroom? How do I bring something new into my already very, very busy teaching schedule? So we have created a number of very helpful downloadable resources that they can use with their students and to help them plan their projects. So I'm just going to show you a few of these. We're adding them all the time. So one of the biggest challenges when you do any kind of a project-based learning activity is establishing a timeline. Time management, project management is hugely challenging. So we have given them a step-by-step recipe as to how they can integrate this project into what they're doing, talking about things like, you know, estimating how much time they have, keeping a log, and we actually help them break it down to how much time they have for the whole project, and then have them break it down, you know, well, that means you need to spend so much time each week or each day. Go back here. So a second thing that we do is we ask them to notify their parents that they're working on this project. We've learned from experience that it's always great that the parents know when they're involved in any kind of a project where they're going out, they're doing field work, or they're connecting with others worldwide. So this is an example of a sample form of a parent notification letter, which they can use to modify and notify the parents that they're going to be involved in this project, telling them what the Global Forest Link project is, and telling them what their students can do, and you know, making sure that they're well informed on this one. We also provide them with what we call their storytelling rubric, which the storytelling is the part that shows what they've learned from using the Global Forest Watch platform and connecting it to the local conditions of their forest health. So we want them to tell us a story that contains a lot of content and evidence, and is interesting. We want them to be creative. So we're looking for fun and original ways that they may share their stories. We have actually created a video that helps them understand a little bit about the technical production of telling their stories, and how things like audio is very important, and how to hold their camera when they're taking video, and so on. And of course, we want to make sure that they're following all of the copyright and fair use rules and laws. So they can look at this, and it kind of gives them milestones and benchmarks as to what we're looking for. Okay, having said that, I want to turn it over to Dr. Lee Zeitz, who's been so kind to join us here from University of Northern Iowa. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about Global Forest Link and Global Forest Watch from the higher education perspective.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for letting me become part of this presentation. I'm really excited about the Global Forest Link project. My name is Lee Zeitz, and I'm an Associate Professor of Instructional Technology at the University of Northern Iowa. And I'm also the coordinator of the Instructional Technology Division in Curriculum Instruction. And this spring, I had the opportunity to be the Iowa liaison for the Global Forest Link project. It was really an exciting project. I'm a strong proponent of the global collaboration. In fact, I'm the president of the ISTE Global Collaboration Personal Learning Network. And one of the things we want to do is we want to find and foster and support examples like this where students are connecting with other students down the street, across the town, in someplace across the country, or maybe around the world. I'm a strong supporter of this because we live in a global society, and we need to think globally both inside and outside of the classroom, and we need to engage our students in global projects like this Global Forest Link. You know, our teachers are going to be teaching the way they're taught, so it's my belief that we need to provide experiences of global collaboration at its best in the classrooms. You know, and this is the way we have undergraduate teachers who are they're going to be future teachers, and if they actually had that happen in their classrooms and saw that it was accessible, then the likelihood of them doing it in the future is much greater. Now, the strengths of the Global Forest Link that I found was that it provides the students the opportunity to think globally but to act locally. They're working with people all over the world, but they are adding data from their own local area. Yeah, and then one of the strongest pieces, I think, is the live interactive teleconferences. In this case, the students get to find out, and like I said, our students as well as the K-12 students, when they involve themselves in this type of global collaboration, they get to find out how things are out there. They find out about time zones. You know, when it's 9 a.m. here in Iowa, it's 5 p.m. in Moscow. And they have the opportunity to engage with students who don't necessarily speak English as their second language. I mean, this requires, unfortunately, Americans typically only speak one language, and that's English. But when we're with other countries, it requires a translation process, which is something they may not have ever experienced. It can be quite unique. They get to see, they learn that students on the other side of the world aren't quite so different from what they are. I mean, a couple times we got to share different things like what's your favorite kind of music, and there are a lot of things that open their eyes to seeing people outside of Iowa. We haven't really had our teacher education students get involved with the GFL. We did have success with one of our recent master's degree graduates. I went out and when Yvonne sent me a note on this, I sent it to our master's students. We have two cohorts of instructional technology master's students. It's a 2-year program. And after they get done with the program, they go out into the world, you know, and most of them are practicing teachers anyway. But so we had one person, Ali Satter from Bettendorf, and she connected 3 science classes of students, and they had an incredible time. They experienced the webinars, they visited their local forests, they shared their findings, and then they even created award-winning videos to document the experience. These students will never be the same. Their understanding of the world has expanded beyond the Iowa's boundaries, and I think this is something that students all over the world should be able to experience.
That was great. Thank you.
Glad I could help.
Yvonne, we have a question from the audience. Someone asked, why hasn't there been more of a response from schools in the tropics where the threat of deforestation is greatest?
I think, you know, we just started with a pilot project, and through our own personal connections and word of mouth, we've been expanding it. You know, it's always a matter of time, resources, and financial resources, but we welcome, you know, our vision is to keep on expanding, and you know, so the answer is, yeah, we want representation from all parts of the world, really, because that's going to give us the full picture. And Elena, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yes, originally, as Yvonne said, originally we had funding just, it was like the pilot project, and we worked with the with Russia because we knew teachers there, and they were very interested. Then the second phase was funded by the Eurasia Foundation, and it was specifically aimed on just Russia and US. And now in this phase 3, we are trying to engage as many countries as possible, and we were trying to engage a lot of countries. We tried to engage countries like Brazil, but because of the school schedule, I think it was not possible for them to participate in this phase, but I think we hope that they will participate next time.
Right, and the more resources that we develop, the easier it is for them to join in. Some of our teachers that participated last year couldn't participate in the fall session just because of what the weather conditions were or their school schedule, what they were teaching, but they're planning on joining into the spring session. And because we have so many of the tutorials and downloadable resources online, they're able to do that.
Great, thank you for answering that. I think we can keep going.
Okay, so it's actually a good segue into this slide, which is this can be such a deep project, and there are so many things that the students can get out of the project. We really coach the teachers to think about prioritizing what the learning outcomes are. You know, are they engaging in this project so that and this is just an example, this isn't a recommendation, but are they engaging in the project so that their students gain knowledge about how to do data analysis, what kind of visualization they can see from satellite images, how the Global Forest Watch platform works, how Global Forest Link works, you know, are they engaging it so students become better project managers? So when several of the schools have students doing this in teams or as an independent study program, and they have to plan out their entire project. So it really requires a lot of project management skills. Is it for the global interaction? We've heard from several schools that what was really appealing to them was not only that they were studying their local environment and their local forest health, but they were sharing it with other students in other parts of the world and learning what was going on there. And then for quite a few of them, it's the digital storytelling. They want an audience. So if they're going through the process of collecting all this data, going out and taking the photographs and videos, who's going to see what they've created? So they love the fact that we're giving them a global audience to see what they're working on. And of course, the teamwork and collaboration. So we just ask teachers we tell them that they can't do all of these equally, but they should sort of prioritize them so they know if it's successful for them. We also like to warn them that whenever you're involved in a linking project or a collaboration project that is going across time zones and languages, there are many things that they have to take into consideration. And in the handouts that we give them, we ask them to address these things. You know, are your holidays the same as the holidays of the other schools you're working with? What about the weather conditions? In some places in the country or in the world, schools close down because of snow or hurricanes, things like that. What are the testing schedules? Does everybody have the same technology? So if you're video conferencing with other schools, make sure that you know you have you all have access to the same technology. What are the content standards? There may be different requirements in California than they are in Iowa, that they are in Pennsylvania, that they are in Chicago and Washington, D.C., and so on. And then even things like if you're going out and documenting what's happening in your forest, do you need transportation? You know, do you need parent permission slips, things like that. So all of that goes into kind of planning the project. Now, Elena is going to talk a little bit about some of the feedback that we've gotten from some of the teachers that have participated.
Yes, we have lots of positive feedback from the teachers. They were very excited. Again, this project, it can be done on different, in various settings. Some of the participants, they do it as a block in the AP Environmental Sciences. Some of the participants do, for instance, in Russia, do it as the after-school club. Some of the participants are doing it as the block in English class. So there are different levels of complexity. But for instance, what the teacher from Russia who was participating in all three actually phases of the project, what she said that she learned a lot together with her students because she didn't know anything about the satellite images, and it was very easy for her to learn how to use the Global Forest Watch through our tutorials and through all the tutorials that you have on the Global Forest Watch, and how to use it and how to implement it for digital storytelling. And then the teacher from US who implemented the project during his IP environmental science classes says that it connects to the syllabus of his AP class because it allows students to critically observe environmental systems, develop and conduct well-designed experiments, analyze and interpret data, including appropriate statistical and graphical presentations, think analytically, propose further question for study, and make conclusion and evaluate their quality and validity. So we really excited that not just the students but the teachers really love our project. And one of the positive comments that we got was that because we realized how hard it is for teachers to plan to include global forest link into their formal already existing class syllabus, we created all these tutorials and put all the materials onto the portal that allows teachers actually to easily use these for their classrooms and for their homeworks, etc.
So one of the things that we added the second phase was the digital storytelling component because as I mentioned before, the students do all this work and some of it's amazing, and we wanted for them to be able to share it with others because what happens, our experience is what happens is when students see what other students have created, they go, oh, I can do that, and then it gets better. So each phase, the stories get better, and the project gets better. So we created what we call an exhibition competition. So they can create stories and they can share it with others, and they also have the option of submitting it to the digital storytelling competition. And I mentioned this because entries are actually due for this phase by December 14th. So if there's anybody that's hearing this for the first time and you're very ambitious, you can still have your students participate in it, and you can go to the Global Forest Link website and register and still join in. So students create they do their research, they create their stories, they submit it. They can be submitted by a team of students or even a solo student. Videos must be 3 minutes or less. And entries, as I said, are due by the 14th of December, and we will be giving 6 $100 awards. So I would like, this is kind of the fun part where we get to share some of the videos. We have so many videos, so we picked 2 to share, one from our Russian students and one from the US. So I'm first going to start with the Russian video. Do you want to say anything about that, Elena, before I start it?
This video is from students from Ulan-Ude, from the city near Lake Baikal, and they're talking about how they started the fire danger and the cause of the fires in their area.
Okay, so here we go.
Hello, my name is Andrew.
My name is Anastasia.
My name is Aslan. We are students from Alsim number 61, Russia, and this is our project about forests near Lake Baikal.
Baikal is a unique creation of nature. It's the deepest lake on earth with purest crystal water. It's surrounded by many national parks and nature preserves that have forests not conceding to the beauty and uniqueness of Baikal. We took photos of the forest in the Baikalsky National Park and analyzed the condition of the forest. Does this forest have problems? Yes, it has. There are many of them, but the main problem of this area is fires. There, we were consistent of international ecological expedition. During this time, we listened to many lectures about various environmental issues and held a number of practical observations and studies. So here what we got. According to the information of Global Forest Watch, we analyzed the forest changes on this area during the period from 2001 to 2014. As you can see, the loss of trees has increased almost in 4 times. Then, we have watched the map of the forest fires. Here in red color, you can see the area of the forest that was burned by fires in the last 5 years. Let's take a look at effects of fires that result in the loss of forest and, of course, have straight relation to wildlife. A wide variety of lake animals die due to the high concentration of carbon dioxide dissolved in water. There are 90 species of birds listed in Red Book of Russia because of fires that are forced to leave the area. Information that we got from an expert on birds proves it. Birds have migrated 1 kilometer further. Terrestrial animals just can't live there. With an expert in biology, we found out the population of snakes decreased. Then we came across traces of a bear, so it gave us a hope that they were still living here or they were running from the fires on the peninsula. Why fire occur? The majority of fire occur because of human. People's careless use of fire is the main reason, because the dry grass and wood don't set fire to themselves.
Why do we allow this to happen? We ourselves are part of this nature.
Forests, animals, water, everything is interconnected in an unbreakable circle, and we should support it.
Fires may cause the extinction of a big part of wildlife. The forest near Lake Baikal pure to water and let it to be amazingly clean, but with fires it's impossible.
Save forest, save life, peace.
All right. So that was an example of our one of the videos from our Russian schools, and now I'd like to show you one of the fun and creative videos from our school in high school in Iowa.
Hi, my name is Darla the deer, and I love forests. Some would claim that we, white-tailed deer, have a negative impact on forests in Iowa, but I disagree. I think that other factors are shown to hurt forests more. Let me show you a few examples. This photo was taken in the forest of Lake Aquabi State Park in Indianola, Iowa. As you can see, there is no visible damage caused by deer. The main problem seemed to be dead wood all over the floor and dead trees, which isn't the fault of my friends and I. This photo was also taken at Lake Aquabi. Again, there is virtually no damage caused by white-tailed deer like me. The only damage shown in this picture is dead trees and wood all over the floor. We shouldn't be blamed because this is not our fault. Honestly, there isn't much damage in the first place. The Global Forest Watch shows that it's a very healthy forest with practically no significant tree death, even though there's a lot of deadwood on the forest floor in these pictures, which were taken here and here. The forest is very healthy. A report made by the USDA states that Iowa's forests are generally quite healthy. The issues come from diseases such as the white oak disease and the Dutch elm disease. The forest at Lake Aquabi State Park is a healthy one, which is proven in the previous pictures. This satellite image shows that it's populated greatly by trees with much coverage. This is backed by data collected by the U.S. stating that there hasn't been much change throughout the past years. See, deer aren't as much the problem as some people think they are. Have a nice day. See you later.
Okay. So those are just two examples of the many videos that were turned in. You can see they're quite different, but they're both showing what they've learned and what they've learned about the technology they were using, the Global Forest Watch platform, as well as what they learned about their forest. Okay, so I just want to share with you our wish list and the next steps for Global Forest Link. We want to continue to add new content. We've been focusing on urban forests, which seem to be of great interest to many of the schools that we're working with, and also indigenous population. We want to add new countries, new languages, cities, more experts, more resources, new awards and challenges. And again, I'm not sure who's listening, but I'd love to invite anybody that is to become part of our Global Forest Link community and share what's going on in your part of the world. So how do you join that community? You can find us on Facebook. We have a community page there. You can follow us on Twitter, and of course you can come to our website. So thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to our organizers.
Thank you, Yvonne. And we have one more question about Global Forest Link. Is there a minimum technical or technological requirement to do this, like bandwidth or internet access?
Yes, you have to have an internet access because everything is on our portal and on Global Forest Watch, so you need to have an internet access to participate.
But you do, of course, need to have internet access, and I don't know what the minimum bandwidth is. I have not heard one comment back from any school that has participated that bandwidth has been an issue. So people do it on their cell phones. They do it, in school through their school computers, school computer networks. Some of them do it through libraries. So I know you can do it. If you can do it through your cell phone, I know you can do it through dial-up. So I'm not really sure what the minimum bandwidth is.
Yeah, I don't think we have this restriction, but access to internet, not all the time, but at least sometime, is really important.
Okay, great.
Oh, and that's actually a very good point. That we've talked a lot about what's the sharing part and the resources that are online, but this is really a blended learning activity. The students spend as much time offline, out in their environment, doing field research, and then choosing what parts of that research that they share online. So I think that's very important to stress.
Great. I think those are all the questions that we've had. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thank you to our guest speakers. I hope everyone took away something interesting about how Global Forest Watch and Global Forest Link can be used in the classroom.
And please feel free to contact the Global Forest Link team as well as us. This, again, as Carla said, this webinar will be up on the YouTube page, so you'll have our contact information there. And we're going to send up a follow-up email. So if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to contact us.
So thank you again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.